Hey everyone, my name is Jamie. I'm a fitness instructor at CFB Wainwright. Today's fitness class is all about core strength for golfers. I'm not necessarily the best golfer in the world. I have a very strong mini putt game, but anything when you get me on an actual golf course, it's just not meant to be. So that's why I chose this sort of workout. The core exercises we're doing are very slow and controlled. A lot of it, we're using the entire body, not just focusing, on crunches and things like that, just because the golf swing, in any sense of the word, is a full body movement. So we're really channeling in sort of that anti-rotation, that core bracing, that activation in that sense, to really just help you on the golf course. So all you're going to need for this workout is a yoga mat. I just have behind me a dowel and a sandbag. So if you have a sandbag that you can take out weight, for this purpose I'm just using 10 pounds, just because there are some exercises that require a little bit more upper body strength than lower body, and sort of vice versa. But if you do have that adjustable sort of version, you can put in weight, you can take out weight, it's totally up to you. If you don't have any of these pieces of equipment, you can use a towel. In place of a yoga mat, you can use a broomstick, a hockey stick, anything like that to replace the dowel. And then if you don't have that sandbag, take a backpack, fill it with a bunch of stuff at home. It's basically the exact same thing. So without further ado, get your equipment set up to the side. We're going to take you through a nice, easy warm-up. So you guys are going to start your warm-up on your mat. The first exercise we're going to do is called cat-cow. So you're going to get into a tabletop position where your knees are stacked under your hips and your wrists are stacked under your shoulders like so. Very common exercise we use, okay, just to warm up the spine, and just really just control it nice and easy with the breath. Okay? At your own pace, you're going to do 7. So nice and simple. You're just going to curl up the shoulders, round them, tuck the belly button in, and then reverse the movement, push the belly button through, bring the chin up. Okay, so that's 1. Nice and easy. Feel the movement. Take the time to recognize your breath. That's 6. And 7. Next exercise is a scapular press. So we're still going to be in that tabletop position. Only changes now, the focus is in our scapula. So you're going to stay nice and stagnant, find that posture and that pose, and from there you're just going to drop your shoulder blades down. Okay, so bring your shoulder blades sort of just into a depression, and then you're going to come back up. So that's 1. So nice and easy. Okay, you should see and feel your shoulder blades just drop down, still keeping that tabletop position. Everything is nice and stacked, just dropping the shoulder blades. Okay? After you're done your 7 at your own pace, you're going to be in a prone position, so you're going to lay on your stomach. From there, it's called a prone WTYI. So all we're doing with those letters behind it is we're just making those letters with our arms. So in the prone position, we're going to start with a W, or in this case, how like a football field upright would look. You're going to lift your hands from the W up, slide them out to make the T, lift it up, slide them out in front to make a Y, lifting up, and then slide them above your head, lifting up. So that's 1. You're going to do 7 total at your own pace. So bring it back, W, T, Y, I. That's 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, and last 1. All those letters are nice and perfect. 7. From there, you're going to get up onto your mat, and you're going to start kneeling on one leg, and the other leg is going to be extended out to the side. Okay? So you would want the front of your foot to line up with the front of your knee. Okay, that back foot is just going to be curled under, all right? So the toe is going to be towards the ground. It's not going to be flat, all right? From there, you're going to do an adductor opener. So it focuses on the groin region itself, and as well as adding that opening movement, really helpful for the T-spine and those upper back muscles that we use so much when we golf. So from here, we're just going to have our hands out in front, and whichever leg is out to the side, you're going to open up that arm. So I have my left leg out to the side. I'll open up my left arm, open up to the side, nice and smooth, come back down. Okay, if you haven't noticed already, this warm-up is a set of 7. So again, moving at your own pace. It's your warm-up. Go at whatever pace and speed you need to feel you're ready. That's 6 and 7. Good, so then you're going to switch sides, kneeling on the opposite leg. The other leg is extended. Setting our hands down, opening up to the side, coming back to the start. Good. Next exercise gets a little bit funky. It's a half kneeling groin marker. So you're going to start in a half kneeling position. So in this case, my left leg is up front. I'm kneeling on my right leg. Then you're going to take that front leg, swing it out to the side to where your heel matches directly with that knee. Okay? So from there, you're going to make that 90-degree shin angle, right? So we don't want the foot out here. Make that 90-degree angle. And from here, you're just going to rest one hand on your hip, the other hand on your knee, and rock into that forward foot and come back. Okay, you want to make sure we keep the heel of that side foot on the ground as best as possible. Okay, if at any point in time you come up, right, really make sure that foot's planted. Work on that ankle mobility so much. And just feel that stretch in the ankle joint as well as in the adductors. Okay, so again, 7, nice and easy. Okay, when you're ready, switch legs. So you can go back to that starting position. So you can start in the half kneel, swing the leg out to the side, heel lines up with knee, hands on hip and knee, and rock into that front foot. It's okay if one side is a little bit more flexible than the other. Okay, oftentimes we have a dominant side, especially in golf, right? So those weaker sides, just work a little bit longer, right? Maybe you need to do a couple more reps just to get the feeling in. And one more for good measure. Good. Next exercise, you're going to be seated just behind your mat, right? This exercise is a 90-90 pop-up. So when I say 90-90, the legs are in a 90-degree angle, so they're just, feet are facing out in front of me. I have my arms out in front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing my knees out to the side, so I make the 90-degree angles with both legs, and then I'm going to pop up, bring my hips full extension, arms are out in front, come back down to the side, switch directions, and do the exact same thing on the other side. So nice and easy, move through the movement, okay? You might get stuck in the middle, right? So again, just move nice and slow, okay? This is not meant to be done really fast, okay? Big thing is just working on that hip mobility, Okay, getting comfortable and uncomfortable in this position. Okay, as you get better, right, you can get a little bit faster at this, a little bit more natural, a little bit more smoother. But for now, if it's your first time, just take it slow, keep it nice and easy. Okay, so we want to pop that hip up into extension, just like we are when we're swinging. At the end of our swing and the follow through, the hips are coming through. We just want to mimic that movement in this exercise. Okay? We've done what we need to do on the mat. Grab your dowel or your broomstick. And we're going to do 3 exercises with this. So the first one is a dowel overhead through. So you're going to grip the dowel overhand and a nice wide grip. From there, you're literally just going to bring the dowel up above your head, back behind you, and reverse the movement back out in front. So that's 1. So again, at your own pace. 7 is the magic number. Okay? If you feel you're not quite there, right, widen your grip out a little bit. Get that shoulder mobility. Okay, you really want to try and touch the dowel in between the middle of your back. Okay? So widen that grip out if you have to. Next exercise is a dowel around the world. So sort of like the overhead through, you're going to adopt the same overhand grip and widen it out a little bit. From there, you're going to bring the dowel out to the right side, bring it behind your back, and then come through with the right hand over to the left side and in front, okay? So you're just bringing it around, behind, around, and in front, okay? The better you get at this motion, the faster you'll be. But again, if it's your first time, right, take the time, understand the movement, feel everything in your shoulder joint. It's moving, okay? Making sure we're doing both sides. So we're going to switch, bring it over to the left-hand side, back behind, through to the right, and back in front, okay? And 7. Last exercise we're going to do is a little bit towards the actual golf movement, preferably the swing. What you're going to do is you're going to adopt sort of a front rack stance, but in a crossover arm position. Okay? So my hands are going to be on top of the dowel, right? And I'm going to have the dowel in that front rack position so it's resting on the tops of my shoulders. Okay? From here, I'm going to have a slight bend in my knee, hinge forward, right? Like I would actually be ready to putt. Okay, that exact same starting position. And then all I'm going to do is bring the dowel back and forth, like so. Okay, so I call this the crossover golf swing. So you start in the center, back swing, forward swing. Okay, so it's more for the necessity of your thoracic spine and that region of your upper back. But you do have a little bit of movement in the hips as well, right? Just to go through the motions. Okay? So just from the frontal view, again, making sure you're going to do 7 each side. Right? And really work that thoracic region, unlock that mobility. Good. You can set your dowel off to the side. We won't need it for the rest of the workout. Next one I'm going to take you through is the learning opportunity. So we're going to go through the 4 exercises of the main core workout, just so you understand better how to move, and then we can apply that learning to the workout and get ready to access that core. Alright, for this learning phase, we're going to go over the 4 different exercises I'm using in the main portion of this core warm-up. So all we're going to do is familiarize ourselves with the movements. We're not actually going to use the sandbag, but I will tell you how to grip the sandbag for each exercise, okay? As well as I'm going to tell you some regression options if the main exercise might be a little too difficult or you might be new to it. So the first exercise is a sandbag kneeling upper body halo. Lots of words, but a very simple movement, okay? So the kneeling portion, we're just going to be on both knees, okay? Behind us, right, our toes are going to be curled under, so we're in that active position, right? They're not going to be flat, okay? Toes are curled under. From here, you're going to grab the sandbag in a neutral grip, or if you don't have a sandbag, your backpack. So you're going to grab it at the sides, all right? If you have a sandbag as well that has different handles, instead of using the wider sort of neutral grip handles, you can use the narrow ones as well, but it's a little bit easier if you use the wider grip. So from there, the sandbag is going to be just at the front of your chest, and you're going to make a halo sort of shape with the sandbag. So just like we did in the Around the World, exact same thing. So you're going to bring it around, back behind your head, around your ear, and in front. All right? So everything we do today is going to be, we're going to do both sides, okay? Just because golf is very a backwards, forwards movement. You're using every different portion of your body in order to activate that swing. All right? So we want to make sure we want to do both sides, equal everything out, okay? So back to that halo, we have it out in front, bring it around, back behind, and out in front. Same thing if we do it on the opposing side. Really simple. If you wanted to regress the movement and make it a little bit easier, you can just sit down in the kneeling position, but we still need to be nice and upright in your posture, all right? So the only thing that should be doing work is the arms itself, okay? You should not be sort of going with the movement in the halo. Nice and upright, engage the core, keep it nice and tight, and then you'll be able to do the halo. Next exercise is a sandbag dead bug with a diagonal shoulder extension. Again, more words, but simple concept. So here, you're going to take the same grip that you had on the halo on the sandbag, so you're gripping on the outside in a neutral grip. Legs are going to be up at a 90-degree angle, right? And I'm sitting nice and comfortable on my back, all right? So I'm going to start by bringing the left leg out, and then at the same time, I'm going to turn the sandbag to the opposing arm. So I'm going to turn the sandbag towards my right arm, extend it down, both my leg and the arm at the same time, coming back up, resetting back to center. When I switch and do the opposite leg, so my right leg comes out, I'm turning the bag to my left arm, extending it down, bringing it back up like so. All right, so it's a little bit of coordination and timing, but when you get the routine right, it's really smooth, okay? If you want to take a regression, still be able to work your core, you can just plant your feet on the mat, feet facing forward, still have the sandbag above your face, and then just turn it, shoulder extension, back to center, repeat on the opposing side, okay? You'll notice when you bring the sandbag down, you're really going to feel it in your upper abs, all right? Not so much in your lower, but you're really going to have to work hard to keep your back sort of planted and grounded into the mat. You don't want to lift your back up, all right? It's just a little subtle movement of that shoulder extension and back to center, okay? From there, the next exercise is a sandbag high plank with a lateral drag. Pretty straightforward stuff. Your sandbag in this sense, all you're going to do is you're just going to drag it through your body while you're in that high plank, okay? So you're on your hands, wrists are stacked on your shoulders like so. Since you are sort of grabbing and pulling, all right, to make it more challenging but also a little less stable, your feet will be behind you and a little bit closer together. But since this might be a new movement, you can widen the base of your feet, even a little bit more than hip width, shoulder width apart. That's totally fine. So that's what I'm going to do in this learning phase. So I have my sandbag here, let's just say to the left of me. I'm going to reach and grab it underhand, drag it through, let go, back to center, repeat, and do the exact same side. Okay? So this is working on a little bit of anti-rotation. So you might have a little bit of rotation in the upper body. That's fine. I just want to avoid the fact if you're completely turning to grab that sandbag. It should be very slight, not super noticeable. As well as in your hips should not be dipping to the side as you're pulling. So you want nice stable hips, right? Upper body might rotate just a little bit, okay? But make sure you grab that sandbag, drag it across laterally, release, back to center, switch and do the same thing opposite side. If you find in that high plank is a little too difficult, you can go back to that tabletop position like we did in the warm-up, okay? Still active with the toes curled under, knees are under hips, but then you just drag from that position, okay? So you're gonna have to drag a little bit slower in order to emphasize the core, right? But it is an easier version versus the high plank. Last exercise is a sandbag half kneeling woodchuck. So that half kneeling position is sort of like how we did in the warm-up as well, but instead of just having the leg out to the side, you're having the leg out in front, creating that 90-degree shin angle. From here, you're going to take that neutral grip on the side of the sandbags. You're going to start with the sandbag opposing the upright leg. You're going to chop it up and back down, okay? So in this case, my left leg is forward, right sandbag is going to be on the right side of my body. From here, I'm going to bring it up diagonally, okay? So then my right hand sort of meets my left knee. I'm getting that full extension of the shoulders, coming back down, resetting. So if I was to do the other side, my right leg is up. I'm starting on my left hand side with the bag, chop up and down, okay? So still working that anti-rotation, but because of all the swinging that we're doing, whether we're driving the ball, chipping, what have you, we're using a lot of that shoulder motion. Okay, so this is just sort of targeting two things at once. We're working on the core itself, and you'll be able to feel it, but you're also working on the movement of that shoulder joint. So now that we've done the learning phase, you know exactly what to do, how to regress the exercises. We're going to go through the main option here in the next little bit. So I've brought you through the learning phase, now we're going to go through the main phase. The only difference is the main phase is we actually have the sandbag at a little bit of resistance, okay? Or if you have that backpack filled with a bunch of different stuff, that's fine too. For the purpose of this workout, since it is golfer's core, the sets are going to be in sets of 4. Get it. It was funnier in my head, okay? So even though we're doing a low amount of reps, I want each repetition to be nice and slow. Okay, so those 4 reps aren't necessarily rushed. Going through the movement, embracing the core, really understanding the activation to where if you slow it down, you can feel it a lot more than you can if you do, say, 10, 15, 20 reps of something. Okay? So we're going to do 3 sets of 4 each side with a little bit of rest in between because it is a slower movement. Okay? So you're not going to be as tired. Maybe your core might be a little bit tired, but again, not as tired if you were to do a higher rep count. So grab your sandbag. Okay. Again, I have about 10 pounds in here just for reference. There are certain exercises in the learning phase you kind of would have known if you would have used more or less weight. If you have the ability, take out weight, right? Put it back in if you need to. Totally up to you. It's your workout. I'm just guiding you through it. Okay? So we're going to start with that kneeling upper body halo. Okay? Grabbing it from the side. Nice and tall, active feet in the back, starting out in front. Alright? So this is the first round. Round, back behind, to the side, and in front. So go through the movement. Already you're going to start to feel that core, your obliques start to fire. And 4, switch directions. Next, Deadlock diagonal shoulder extension. Okay, same grip. Knees are up to 90-degree angle. One leg extend out, opposite, shoulder extension, back to center, reset, switch, and do the other side. Nice and slow. Feel that movement. Okay, take your time, understand how the sandbag needs to go. Right, you're going to develop that routine, you're going to get used to it. This first round with the sandbag might just be a little bit of a learning curve. And 4. Next one is that high plank lateral drag. Again, you have that option if you need to go on a tabletop. Totally fine. Set your sandbag up to the side. Widen your feet. Pull laterally, reset, and repeat. And 4. Last one is that half kneeling woodchuck. Same grip you started with in the upper body halo. Have one foot forward, bag is on the opposite side. Bring the bag up so the hand reaches the knee and back down. Nice and easy. Stay nice and tall with that posture. You're going to need a good grip on the sandbag and strong extension in those elbows. That's 4. Switch legs. Opposite starting position. Okay, so I can see already that I'm sort of favoring one side of my body, right? So find that body awareness. Understand when you slow the movement down, you can pinpoint your faults and make those corrections. All right? So that's that first round. We're going to give about 30 seconds of rest in between. So if you have any water, go ahead, grab a sip, catch your breath, get ready to start that second round. Okay? So maybe if you did the regression exercises the first round, you found they might have been a little bit too easy. Try the options I actually originally prescribed. See how you do with them in the second round. All right? We got about 10 seconds left. So reset. Okay, we're going to start with that upper body halo again. Grab your sandbag in 3, 2, 1, go. So around, behind, and around. Okay, this does great for shoulder mobility, but because we're kneeling, right, we really have to engage the core, work on our posture. Okay, so 4, going the left way, switch directions. And 1 more. Good. Dead bug diagonal shoulder extension. Okay, maybe you just had your feet planted. This time, try having the feet up. Do the dead bug variation. Opposite arm, opposite leg into that shoulder extension. Back to center. Nice and slow, remember? We're only doing 4 reps each side. Good. Next one, you guessed it, that high plank lateral drag. Set it up. Get that high plank, wide the base, and drag. the trickiest one. Last one, half kneeling woodchuck. Grab the sides, half kneeling stance. When you're ready, bring it down, chop up, back to start. Okay, so that bottom hand, when it's up at the top, should keep in line with that forward knee. Nice and easy. When you're done your 4, switch sides, exact same concept. Understand your body awareness. Feel your posture out, nice and tall. That's 3. And 4. You get one more 30-second break. Grab your water, shake your hands out a little bit, shake the legs out a little bit. Whew. Breaking out into a little bit of a sweat here. You'd think golf is such a low intensity sport. Not right now. Okay, so 10 seconds left. Get your sandbag ready, get upper body halo. Challenge yourself this last set. Do every exercise as I prescribed. So 3, 2, 1, go. Around, back, to the center. Okay, you'll notice this is probably one of the tougher ones because of the objects moving in your bag. All right, it's not a stationary weight like a kettlebell or a plate or a dumbbell. Okay, it's extra emphasis on the core because there's weight shifting in the bag itself. So it's definitely a 2-for-1 ordeal. Deadlock diagonal shoulder extension. Okay, at this point you should already know the routine. You understand the rhythm and you're getting into a groove. Going into that high plank lateral drag. This is my least favorite, but I gotta get it done. Remember, you have that option. If you don't feel you're stable in that high plank, drop down to the tabletop, master that drag. And last but not least, back into that woodchuck. When you're ready, chop up, draw a nice diagonal line with that sandbag. Stay nice and tall in that posture. Good, and switch to the other side for the last time. And rest. If you guys are done the main portion of the core, you can set your sandbag off to the side, relax a little bit. We're going to get into some cool down stretches and really target all the muscles that we use today. Alright, now that you guys have done the main part, I hope you broke out into a little bit of a sweat. I know I sure did. So now that the heart rate has dropped down a little bit, we can begin to relax. We'll work on some stretches that target the muscle groups that we use today. So the first one we're going to do is a seated side reach. So you're just going to sit on your mat in a cross-legged position. Okay? You're going to have the forearm of one hand reach down out to the side and have the opposing hand reach out in front. Okay? So already I can start to feel in that side bend, just like my obliques, right? It's a nice gentle pull. Nothing too fancy, but you're feeling it in the right places. Okay, so when you're ready, you can switch over to the other side. I like to switch my feet, that's just my preference. So again, adopt that forearm all the way down to your mat. Reach as far as you can with an open hand out to the side. And just nice big deep breaths. And back to center. From there, you're going to extend your legs out to the side, sort of a triangle position. Taking another reach variation, this is just more so on your hamstrings, as well as a little bit on your lower back and obliques as well. You're going to start by just walking your hands out in front, okay? Try to keep a nice sort of upright posture, so keep your chest upright. Don't necessarily want to round the shoulders and lean forward. So just walk your hands out, get that nice hinge at the hips. Okay, and it's okay if you can't walk your hands out totally far. Today might not be a super stretchy day. That's fine with me. Okay, everybody has their own flexibility, strengths, and weaknesses. And that's totally fine. So from the middle, you're going to walk your hands back up. Walk your hands over to the right leg. Okay, so if you are super stretchy, you can grab, you know, the bottoms of your feet. You can go your ankle. Right, again, or maybe you're not feeling it today, just grab, in this case I'm just grabbing my shin, so getting a little bit of rotation itself, feeling it in the low back, and then when you're ready you can walk hands back up to the middle and over to the left side. So again, really taking into that consideration of doing both sides, keeping that concept with the main portion of the core, keeping it with a cool down as well. So from there, you're going to adopt a deep lunge stance. So it's sort of like our half kneeling approach, but in this case you're just going to walk that front foot forward just a little bit, right? So you have about 120-degree angle with that shin, and then you're just going to lean into that front foot, making sure the knee is tracking directly with that front toe. Right, not up to the sides, and you can just have your hands resting on your knee. Right, so here you're working the hip flexors, a little bit of the groins as well. Right, it's especially predominant when we were doing that dead bug variation. Okay, so targeting those specific muscles. And then when you're ready, you can switch sides. So opposite leg goes out. Walk the foot out to about 120. Deepen into that lunge. Feel it in the front of that quadricep. A little bit in the adductors as well. And then making sure that knee is tracking directly over that toe. Good. From there, you're going to go into a pigeon stretch. So if you'd like, if you're still in that deep lunge, you can just walk your foot over to the opposite side, all right? Set that knee down, okay? And then just sort of bring that back leg just into center, okay? It was a little off to the side. Bring it into the center. So you're like this pose. Have the option if you want to just set your fingertips off to the side, or you can have your forearms down in front of that forward knee. Whatever pose you find most comfortable, or you can feel the stretch more, go ahead and get into it. When you're ready, from whatever position you took, you can walk your hands back up, right? From here, it's a really simple transition. That forward leg, you can just prop it back, sort of into a high plank. Swap the movement, bring the other opposite leg forward, still have that bend in the knee, and then keep that back leg nice and center. Again, whatever sort of position you started with on the other side. Adopt the same on this side. So I'm going to go back to my forearms because that's most comfortable for me, and that's where I feel this stretch the most. Good. From there, walk your hands back up to center. You can come out of that position. And now the next exercise you're going to do is a scorpion. So you can do this as a mobility movement, or you can do this as a static stretch. So in this case, we're obviously going to do it as a static stretch because it is part of the cool down. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay prone on your stomach. Hands are going to be out to the side. In this case, I'm going to take my right leg. I'm going to bring it over top of my body and try to touch, or as close as I can get to, right? Touch that right foot close to my left hand. Okay, so here I'm just feeling that stretch in the low back. Okay, maybe you're not quite that flexible. Drop the foot down a little bit and feel it there. Just hold this position, find what's comfortable. And then come back to center. And then you're going to repeat and do the same thing on the other side. Okay, it's normal if you hear a little bit of crack. All right, that's what happens with this stretch, so don't be alarmed. If anything, it's your body telling you that you need it. Good, and then you're going to come back to center. Last stretch is a half scorpion, so it's a little bit taking the pressure off the low back and putting it into sort of your anterior deltoid in your chest. So same stance in terms of starting position, but now I'm going to take my foot and plant it flat on the ground, and then sort of a support with my right hand, just push into that left shoulder joint. Okay, so you're going to feel a little bit of a stretch more towards there than you do in your upper or in your lower back, sorry. That's where you want to feel it, in that anterior deltoid in the chest. I'm going to come back to center, do the exact same thing on the other side, lift the leg up, plant it, use my left hand to support and push into that joint. Good, and then when you're done, you can just roll out of it and then come to your knees. So those are all the cool down exercises I'm going to run you through today. If you have any other exercises you want to do dealing specific with core, maybe you are an avid golfer and you have some low back issues or some shoulder issues, you know, things like that, now is the time, take the time to address those issues, and hopefully these core exercises will help you on the course. Again, my name is Jamiee. I'm from CFMWS. I hope you guys have a great day.